Hello, people. This is Detroit Miracle. Yes, and indeed, I heard that they just recently opened back up the Giant Slide. Did any of you hear that? Well, you either did or you didn't, but it was something that I heard. But I didn't make it out to Belle Isle to see its opening or to see it working as it once did in the past. I remember the giant slide when I was a little kid. You know, when you're a little kid, it seems a little bit taller, it's a little bit bigger, or a lot bigger, a lot taller, because kids are smaller and they see the world above them as being much, much bigger. So you had to walk all the way up there, and being a little boy, and then you look down, it looked incredibly high off the ground. Then when you got all the way up, you knew you were high, but to an adult, it wouldn't seem that much higher than, maybe a three-story building or something. It might be 3 or 4 stories when it goes up, or maybe 5 when it get to the top. It just seems steep. Yeah, it's crazy. I remember those experiences. I'm walking up the stairs, I'm looking down, I'm scared, but there's no turning back now, because once you start up those steps, you got to keep going. You can't turn around and walk back down because other people are coming up. So it's like it's either do it or die. You can't chicken out once you're up at the top, and you got to keep going up there anyway. So it's a test of you mastering your fear or beating your fear of heights or great heights as such. So it's a test of that. All the people that went up there and did it, they broke their fear of heights that way. And all the people that really did it, and they really helped, deal with their fear of incredible heights. Like, the more you do something, the more you resist something, the stronger the resistance is usually. So, that was one of the cases. Okay, now when you sit down on a slide, you sit on like a cloth. It's like a square piece that you sit on, and it helps you slide down better and more proficiently, I suppose. You can't slide down without that slide blanket, or it wouldn't go right. So everybody gets on that. I'm on the giant slides blanket, like sitting down, waiting to slide all the way down to the bottom, back to where I came from. Yep. And I'm up, seemingly, it looks like 4 or 5 stories high. It seems like that if I have it, once you get all the way up on it, it seems like it's about that. At least 3 stories easily, So then you lay down, and then it goes fast. You're like, wow, I'm going fast. I'm heading down a steep thing. It's like being on a ski mountain and you on a blanket and you're going down a hill on the snow. So it's sort of like that. But the hills on the slide are like, they're sort of like, they're rounded in a way, like you go up, bubbles, 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 and then you go over this, and then you get to the bottom. That's the ski stuff. It seems like you might bump into like blocks of snow, hard snow, ice chunks that hit you in the face as you go down. So I guess it's best not to choose the ice slope. Yeah, people. Okay, so as I'm going downhill on the giant slide as a little boy, I'm like, wow, that is so exciting. And it feels dangerous too, because you have to stay on a blanket as you go down, and if you follow the instructions right, you do it. Yeah, I remember everybody from the neighborhood was going there to Belle Isle to the giant slide, and then there was a lot of people from other neighborhoods. That's one of Detroit's 8th wonders of the world too. The Detroit's Belle Isle Islands Giant Slide. Yeah, that's the 8th wonder. You grow up as a little boy or a little girl, then chances are you've ridden the giant slide on Belle Isle Island. Yeah, the place with the scary looking bridge with the edges. Like, if you look at the edges, they look circled. It's really intimidating. Yeah, well, I'm happy they open back up, and I have to go see it and experience it again. But I'm a little bit, you know, standoffish on it. I'm like, if I go there and don't go ride it and go to the top, then it doesn't mean I chickened out, you know. So then, like, you're like, no, I can't be no chicken, so I gotta ride it. But I haven't had a chance to make it out on the island over the last week or so, I suppose. But I want to get out there and get on the slide if adults are allowed. And I'm sure adults can ride it. I'm sure they made it for both child and adult now. It was probably for adults back then. You paying attention. Okay, well, folks, yeah, thanks for hanging out, and go out and check Belle Isle Island out and the giant slide on Belle Isle Island out for your own enjoyment. And please give me those likes, comments, and subscribe to Detroit Miracle. Indeed.